Scott, the federal standard deduction change that is being proposed could be $1 billion, could be a little more, could be a little less. You think that you can convince your colleagues to change the state standard deduction?
Well, yeah, so the state standard deduction is tied to the federal deduction, and I think that if it's, we have our own tax cut that's in the process of playing out, and I think that we need to let it kind of work its course. If it looks like a federal tax law change is going to have $1 billion impact on the state budget, on a state general revenue budget of $9.5 billion, then I think there will be, a lot of incentive to change that. Number one, so it allows our tax cut that the General Assembly passed and thought was a good idea to continue to be implemented, because that will be on pause by virtue of reduced revenue if we don't decouple. But also just so we can, continue to operate state government without, what would really probably be draconian cuts if we had $1 billion reduction in revenue, to fund the government with.
Would you prefer that they just cut rates at the federal level rather than fiddle with all these deductions?
I think that that certainly has less of an impact on the state budget. I think that when you start messing with deductions is kind of a fancy way of picking winners and losers, really. And so I think depending on what they do with the deductions, it's going to have negative impact on certain groups. So I would prefer to see rate reductions at the federal level. For one reason, it makes my job a lot simpler, not having to deal with it. But I'm sure that Congress does not care what I say. So we'll see what they do anyway.